Hello there, everyone.
Hi, boys and girls.
We're awfully glad you decided to spend the next half hour with us.
We look forward to bringing you our stories, you know.
Well, Aunt Sue, what's your story for today?
I've decided that I'm going to tell a story taken from Civil War days. I call the story
America's Arch Hero Makes a Speech.
The time, early July of 1863. The place, Pennsylvania. The cast, General Meade and his army of Union soldiers.
Company, halt! Up there! Halt! Company, hold!
Captain,
Yes, sir.
we'll rest here for 10 minutes or so.
Yes, sir. Sergeant, tell the men.
Men, 10 minutes rest. Fall out!
Sit down, Captain. I want to talk to you.
Yes, sir, General.
What do you think of Lee, Captain?
General Lee, sir?
Yes.
Oh, he's a great general, sir. A good soldier.
What do you think he'll do?
Nothing, sir. Oh, it's true, sir, that General Lee is a great man. Now, he repeatedly defeated General McClellan, and at Fredericksburg, he dealt a crushing blow to General Burnside. Just recently, he routed General Hooker at Chancellorsville. But, sir, General Lee has now met his Waterloo.
Me?
Now, the president must think you're a great general, sir. Better than Lee, and that's why he appointed you in Hooker's place.
I wish I could believe that.
Oh, but you must, sir. And you must attack General Lee before he gets any nearer to his objective. The president expects it.
Yes, I know. Captain, do you really think we have a chance to stop Lee?
Oh, of course, sir. Remember, General, he's in Northern Territory now. He's a long way from his base of supplies. He's been pushing his men for a long time. They're tired, worn out, and discouraged. This is the beginning of the end of General Robert E. Lee and of the war.
Well, I sincerely hope so. Well, let's get going, Captain. Captain, I've been thinking about what you said.
Yes, sir.
Lee is a cagey general, smart. I think I'll fight a defensive battle.
Defensive battle? General, wars are won by winning battles, and battles are won by offensive action, not defensive.
But if I can keep Lee from gaining his objectives, from taking Harrisburg or Harper's Ferry, that will be a victory. And I intend to choose my own battleground. Ground that will be advantageous to me defensively.
And what ground might that be, sir?
I don't know, but I intend to find out. I'll send a detachment of the Engineer Corps to survey the terrain and choose the best battlefield.
Well, I'll admit, General, that sometimes advantages can be gained by defensive action.
I'm glad you agree, Captain. I'll send a telegram to the White House stating that I intend to fight a defensive battle.
Fight a defensive battle against General Lee? Mr. Lincoln, what's Meade thinking about anyway?
Oh, Stanton, be calm. You'll get ulcers.
Calm, we have a war to be won. General Lee is backed into a corner, and what does Meade do? Fight a defensive war? And he wants us to promote two of his captains to generals. Captain yet, to generals.
Issue the necessary documents, Stanton.
You're going to yield to his demands?
Of course. We gave him command of the Potomac Army, didn't we?
Just 2 days ago, 2 days.
Nevertheless, he is in command, and we'll give him a free hand. Let him fight Lee in his own way.
But I am Secretary of the Army, and I say...
I am Commander-in-Chief. I say give Meade what he wants. Cooperate with him in every way. That's an order.
Yes, sir.
Came the morning of July 3, 1863, in the White House.
Good morning, Mr. Stanton.
Morning, Mr. President.
And how was the war going this morning?
No word, sir, from General Grant, and only scattering reports from General Meade.
Mr. Stanton, I hope the war comes to an end quickly. All this taking of lives worries me. If only our men, and the Confederate men too, will not have died in vain.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
You say there's no report from Grant?
No, sir.
What do the scattering reports from Meade indicate?
Well, sir, it seems that Meade, relying on his engineers, has decided to force Lee to fight on his own chosen ground, Pipe Creek.
Pipe Creek? What's that? And where is it?
Oh, it's a tributary of the Potomac, branching off near Harper's Ferry and going in a northerly direction to Union Mills. It seems that Meade has deployed his troops in a line from Middleburg on the left to Manchester on the right, along Pipe Creek.
Well, Stanton, I think Meade's strategy is well-founded. And I'm sure...
Choice of a line, General, is very wise.
Thank you, General.
General?
Brigadier General.
Me? Oh, I'm just a captain, sir.
You were a Captain General. Now you're a general by order of Stanton, Secretary of the Army.
Thank you, sir.
To thank Stanton. He issued the orders.
Well, knowing Stanton as I do, and I do know him, I'm sure he opposed the idea. I see your hand in this, sir, and the hand of the President.
By the way, General, what is the latest on the position of Lee?
Sir, General Lee was surprised. I can almost see his face as he was informed.
Informed of what, General?
That we're close on his heels.
He didn't know it?
Not until just recently, sir. He must have been so sure of success that he relaxed his efforts and failed to send out the usual scouts and spies.
You have a report as to his action when he learned that we had crossed the Potomac?
Yes, sir. He was ready to attack Harrisburg. Immediately, he recalled in his troops and cavalry, and he's regrouping on an east and west front, roughly from Chambersburg to Hanover. My spy reports further that Lee has sent a small detachment to occupy Gettysburg. It seems that he thinks Gettysburg is an important point to occupy as an observation and concentration point.
General, send a detachment to occupy Gettysburg before Lee's forces get there. Instruct them not to fight there, but to retreat slowly so as to draw Lee's forces back here to our lines along Pipe Creek.
Yes, sir.
That afternoon, there was spasmodic fighting on the Baltimore and Taneytown roads out of Gettysburg. That same afternoon, in the White House...
Mr. President,
Yes, Stanton.
Grant has been defeated again, sir.
How badly?
I do not have that information, sir.
Well, anyway, Grant won't give up. He'll keep on fighting regardless of how many defeats he suffers. What about Meade and his Army of the Potomac?
Nothing definite, Mr. President, only rumors. The papers have it that Meade won a decisive victory this very afternoon somewhere around Gettysburg.
See what confirmation you can get.
Yes, sir. I've sent dispatches to almost everyone, sir, who could remotely know what's going on at Gettysburg and Vicksburg.
Any replies?
No, sir, Mr. President.
I'll keep in touch.
Yes, sir.
Any replies to your dispatches yet, Mr. Stanton?
No, sir, Mr. President. I've heard nothing at all yet, Mr. President. It's late. Want me to set up a communication line between here and your chambers, sir?
No, Stanton. I'm going to stay right here until something definite, one way or the other, is heard. Better yet, I'll go to the telegraph office and wait there. Surely we'll hear something before long. And Stanton...
Yes, sir?
Ask Seward if he will wait too.
Yes, Mr. President.
And anyone else who wants to.
And so the President, Secretaries Stanton, Seward, and Wells, and a small group of others waited for news of the war. At midnight, Secretary of the Navy Gideon Wells gave up in despair and went home. Almost immediately, a dispatch arrived addressed to Secretary Wells. Secretary Stanton pounced upon it and read it aloud.
Mr. Secretary of the Navy, today I was in sight and within hearing of a great battle at or near Gettysburg. Generals Meade and Lee were shooting it out, and at 6 o'clock when I left the field of battle, things looked hopeful for Meade. Signed, Byington. Well, Mr. President, Maybe, after all, General Meade is doing the impossible and routing Lee, avenging...
But who is Byington?
Byington. Never heard of him.
Neither have I.
Well, find out who Byington is.
Operator, send a dispatch to Hanover. 3 words. Who is Byington? Mr. President, here's the answer to our telegraph.
Ask the Secretary of the Navy. Ask the Secretary of the Navy? Wells, where is he?
He went home, sir, at midnight.
Oh, yes. Well, send a messenger and get him immediately.
The President and his companions waited an impatient half hour. When Secretary of the Navy Wells walked in, the telegram was thrust into his hands.
A battle? At Gettysburg, huh?
Yes.
The message is to me.
Yes, read it. Who is Byington?
Why, he's an editor and owner of the weekly newspaper in Norwalk, Connecticut.
What's he doing in Gettysburg?
Well, probably the New York Tribune hired him to cover the battles of Meade. The telegraph can be depended upon as authoritative. Mr. President, and gentlemen, if you'll excuse me now, I'll go back to my disturbed sleep. Good night.
Good night, Wells. Gentlemen, Wells has a good idea. I, too, shall go to the White House and try to get some sleep.
Shall I call your carriage, sir?
No, Stanton. I'll walk. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
President Lincoln left the telegraph office and slowly started walking to the White House. The day had been hot and dusty.
It's hot.
The night was feverish and close. The cloudy night was lighted up now and then by heat lightning and the rumbling of distant thunder.
Just like a 4th of July celebration. 4th of July. Over 80 years ago, this great country was born. 80 and more years ago. And I am president. Can this country, this government last? This government founded on the proposition of human equality. Is this to be the end of that government of, for, and by the people? Or will Grant at Vicksburg and Meade at Gettysburg win and prolong and perhaps even promote the idea that all men are created equal?
The night grew cool, and President Lincoln had a few hours of rest before the sultry dawn. Definite news reached the White House at 10 o'clock that morning of July 4, 1863. At 10:30, President Lincoln issued a statement.
News from the Army of the Potomac is such as to cover that army with the highest honor, to promise a great success to the cause of the Union, and to claim the condolence of all the many gallant and fallen men. As President, I recommend on this, the 4th of July, 1863, the anniversary of our nation's birth, that God be remembered and everywhere revered with profound gratitude.
Two hours later,
A telegraph has just come from General Meade, sir.
We are holding Gettysburg. Lee has abandoned large numbers of killed and wounded. Signed, General Meade.
at that moment, General George Meade had won a great victory, but did not realize it. No one did. On that same day, July 4, 1863, General Pemberton's army surrendered Vicksburg to General Grant. With General Grant in full possession of Vicksburg and General Robert E. Lee in full retreat from General Meade's forces, President Lincoln was a happy man.
Now, perhaps this bloodshed and suffering will end, and the idea that all men are created equal will forever endure upon the earth.
When General Lee fled from Gettysburg, he left over 2,500 dead Confederate soldiers. More than that number of dead Union soldiers lay with them in the rain. More than 20,000 wounded lay in churches, barns, and other buildings pressed into service as hospitals. Many of the wounded died each day, adding to the total number of improperly buried soldiers. The problem of burial became acute, and Governor Curtin of Pennsylvania appointed a committee headed by a Mr. Wills to investigate and suggest a remedy. Eventually, a plot of land was purchased near the Baltimore Turnpike and made into a cemetery.
Gentlemen, as you know, you were invited to sit in on this committee to plan and execute the dedication of the new cemetery. A date for the dedication has already been set, November 19th, 1863. Edward Everett of Boston is recognized as America's best and foremost orator. He will deliver the dedication speech. Any objections? Special invitations will be issued to such men as General Meade, General Grant, the Venerable General Winfield Scott, and a few others who had a special part in the winning of Gettysburg.
How about President Lincoln? Are we not going to invite him?
It is thought best to include him in the general invitations.
I don't agree. I am of the opinion now that I think about it that the President should have the main dedication speech. After all, he is a good orator. Remember his campaign speeches and his debates with Stephen Douglas? Examples of fine speaking, I think.
Oh, Lincoln can make fair political speeches, but as for dedicating a cemetery, I think not. Anyway, I doubt if he'll even come to Gettysburg. He is a busy man, you know.
Good evening, dear. And how is my charming wife?
I'm fine, Abe. But more important, how was your day?
Nothing really important or unusual happened, except I received an invitation to the dedication services at the new National Cemetery in Gettysburg.
Are you going?
Perhaps. I've been wanting to go and look over the Gettysburg battlefield for a long time. You'll go too, of course.
Am I invited?
Well, naturally. Everyone is. Here's the notice.
This is your invitation?
Yes.
But, why, this is just a printed circular. Certainly you're not going on the strength of this invitation.
Why not?
Why not? Oh, Abe, you're the President of the United States. You're due more respect than a general circular. Well, yours should have been a specially written invitation.
Do you mind if I go? On the strength of this printed circular invitation?
Of course not. You're a great man not to let such oversights make any difference in your duty and treatment of your fellow men.
I'll notify the commission at Gettysburg that I'll be there.
Gentlemen, we just received word that the President of the United States will be at the dedication services. It is felt that we should honor him in some way.
Why not ask him to make a speech?
Because Edward Everett has been asked and has accepted.
Well, can't old Honest Abe make a secondary dedicatory speech?
It'll be a grave and solemn occasion. I don't think the President is capable. Oh, well, what do the rest of you think?
I say, let Everett make the speech.
Look, dear, I just received this from Gettysburg.
What is it?
I've been asked to speak at the dedicatory services.
Let me see that. Mr. President, the Commission on the Establishment and Dedication of the National Cemetery at Gettysburg respectfully invites you to speak at the dedication ceremonies on November 19. As Chief Executive of the nation, you will, by a few appropriate remarks, formally set aside the grounds for their sacred use. You will immediately follow the main oration by Edward Everett, signed the Commission of the Establishment and Dedication of the National Cemetery at Gettysburg in behalf of the various state governors.
Quite an honor to speak at the ceremonies, don't you think?
Don't you realize, Abe, that this invitation is merely an afterthought?
Such a thing hadn't crossed my mind, no.
Well, it is. It's only 2 weeks until the ceremonies, and weeks after all other arrangements have been made. And did you notice how they emphasized that you were to make a few remarks? A few appropriate remarks?
And I will make my remarks few, and short, and to the point, appropriately.
When it was learned that President Lincoln had accepted the last-minute, unenthusiastic invitation to speak at Gettysburg, some of the people and most of the newspapers spoke out against it. Listen to this, Abe. It's in the Evening Herald. Why is Lincoln going to Gettysburg? To dedicate the cemetery to the sacred burial of soldiers? No. Is he going to better his own political future? Yes. Is he going to make a stump speech over the graves of soldiers for the sake of gaining political advantage? Yes. Don't go. Don't go, Abe.
If I don't go, the editors and the people will be sure that I had intended going for the exact purpose they accuse me of. Then they will be sure that I had planned to profane the sacred burial grounds for personal gain.
Then you will go?
I am going. Oh, the easy way out would be not to go. I'm tempted not to, but I am going.
Why? Why are you going to Gettysburg, Abe?
My own wife asked me that question, too. And you have a right to an answer. And perhaps I don't know the answer. Certainly, I am not going just to make a political speech. Perhaps I want to pay tribute to the brave men who died there. Perhaps it is my duty to go and summon the people to join me in a new dedication of the whole nation to an unfinished task which the soldiers who died there so nobly advanced. I don't know why, dear. I'm just going.
Whatever your reasons, Abe, I know they're good and noble and fine.
Stanton, I want you to make arrangements for a special train to take me and the cabinet and others to Gettysburg and return. Then let me know the schedule. It's getting dusk, Seward. Aren't we about to Gettysburg?
We'll be there in about 10 minutes, Mr. President.
Upon arrival at Gettysburg, the President was escorted to the home of Mr. Wills, chairman of the Dedication Commission. Others of the presidential party were housed next door in the home of Mr. Harper. It was Gettysburg's greatest night. Oh, there had been much more noise before, when the forces of Lee faced the forces of Meade. But this was Gettysburg's greatest night. The town was full. The weather was mild. Not many people cared to go to bed. A number of military bands had come from different cities, and they played throughout the night. Gradually, Gettysburg subsided into silence. Sheer physical weariness laid its heavy hand on the noisy crowd, and they became silent, ready to attend the solemn dedication for which they had come to Gettysburg. The President, too, was tired and weary. He had worked through many hours of the night preparing his dedication speech. It was finished, and he laid down to rest. At 10 o'clock the next morning, Mr. Lincoln, dressed in black and wearing a tall hat and white gauntlets, emerged from the home of Mr. Wills and mounted a waiting horse. The crowd pressed in upon him. It was 11 o'clock before the crowd permitted the president to get underway. When he finally reached the cemetery, there was another delay. Mr. Edward Everett had not arrived. He did not arrive for half an hour. The ceremonies began at noon, an hour late. Mr. Edward Everett, the scholar and statesman, was introduced to the assembled thousands. He arose, looked around, hesitated, then, as the crowd hushed in anticipation, he spoke.
Standing beneath this serene sky, overlooking these broad fields now reposing from the labors of the waiting year, the mighty Alleghenies dimly towering before us, the graves of our brethren beneath our feet. It is with hesitation that
Mr.
I raise
Everett's
my
white
full
hair,
voice
his
to break
erect
the
form,
eloquent silence
his
of God
graceful
and nature.
pose, his attire and his
But the duty to which
faultless
you have
delivery
called
in
me
clear
must be
tones
performed.
held his audience
Grant
for
me,
over
I
2
pray you,
hours.
the indulgence
His
and
closing
your
words
sympathy.
were dynamic, powerful, and quoted for hours after he had concluded. At the close of Mr. Everett's address, a hymn was sung, and then the President of the United States was introduced.
77 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We are met to dedicate a portion of it as the final resting place of those who have given their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our power to add or to detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work that they have thus far so nobly carried on. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that the nation shall, under God, have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.